What is up, guys? It is the Gaming News Stuff here, and today we're going to have a quick look, or a bit of an in-depth look you might say, at the two new characters that are added or being added to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now, first character, as you should be able to see on screen, is the ShoreTrooper. Now, the ShoreTrooper is an Empire tank who enters battle with taunt, heals allies, and grants them critical hit immunity. Now, he sounds pretty awesome already. Got another awesome tank. He can also heal, which is an awesome combination, tank and healing. So we're going to have a look at his abilities first off. So the first default basic ability is target weapons, which is deal physical damage to target enemy with a 70% chance to inflict critical down for 2 turns. Now these are all the maxed level abilities, so this is what they are when you get them to the top tier. Next up, we have the special ability Regroup. All other allies recover health equal to 24% of ShoreTrooper's max health and gain critical hit immunity for 2 turns. ShoreTrooper gains taunt for 2 turns. Whenever ShoreTrooper loses a buff, reduce the cooldown of this ability by 1. And the cooldown by default is a 4-turn cooldown. And finally, we have the unique ability, which is Stand Guard. At the start of each encounter, ShoreTrooper gains taunt for 1 turn whenever another Empire unit uses a special ability. If ShoreTrooper is taunting, they gain 15% turn meter, and ShoreTrooper recovers 10% of max health. So far, this seems like it's going to be a pretty awesome Empire unit, because obviously it will probably work really well with Empire teams like Darth Vader, Royal Guard, Emperor Palpatine, all of the rest. There's also all of the stats for his power and strength and all that, which I'm not going to go too much into, but I am going to do some comparison between, for example, the health of this tank character compared to the Royal Guard. So we're going to do that now. So, as you guys can see up on screen now, hopefully, we have the max health of the ShoreTrooper, which is 27,024 health. Now, this may mean nothing to you. You may not know how the helves are set up, but as we all know, the Royal Guard is a massive unit with heaps of health and heaps of defense. But if we head over to him, we can see he only has 26,798 health. So realistically, the ShoreTrooper is probably almost more of a tank than the Royal Guard. There is some aspects of the Royal Guard that are better, such as the protection and tenacity, but other than that, the ShoreTrooper seems like it's going to be a pretty ridiculous tank for an Empire team and in general in the game. Okay guys, next up we actually have the TIE Fighter Pilot, which is another Empire unit. Empire teams are going to be destroying the meta when all these units come out properly, but he is an Empire attacker who inflicts buff immunity and gains foresight. So once again, let's have a look at his abilities, starting with the basic ability, Targeting Computer. Deal physical damage to target enemy and deal 35% more damage for each enemy suffering a debuff. Tenacity down for 2 turns on a critical hit. So in other words, if you've got Vader on your team and there's 10 debuffs on the field, 10 debuffs on the field, that is going to deal deadly damage. That is going to kill so many units one shot if you use that attack with all the debuffs on. Next up, we have the special ability TIE Strike, which has a 4-turn cooldown. This deals physical damage to all enemies with an 80% chance to inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. Inflict ability block on the primary target for 1 turn. So this is a guaranteed ability block if you hit the attack, and 80% chance of buff immunity, which is a pretty high chance, and you're going to have your enemies, not being able to use any special abilities, not being able to buff themselves or anything. That's going to be incredibly powerful. And finally, we have the unique ability, Evasive Maneuvers. At the end of his turns, for each debuffed enemy, TIE Fighter Pilot gains 10% turn meter and a 35% chance to gain foresight for 1 turn. So each enemy that has a debuff, once again, you're using Vader or something like that, that is going to be an extra 10% turn meter. So if all 5 have debuffs, then yeah, okay, then he'll have about like 50% extra turn meter. Sorry, my voice is broken at the moment. But he'll also have a 35% chance to gain foresight, which basically means the next attack to hit him will not hit. It'll miss, guaranteed. And now we're going to actually go in and compare the TIE Fighter Pilot to other units in his category. So I've actually decided to compare the TIE Fighter Pilot's abilities and, stats with Rey, because they're both renowned as attackers and have foresight and whatnot. So I decided it's a pretty fair comparison since they're both attackers. Now, first off, if we have a look at the speed, if you've used Rey, you'll know she's relatively quick, nothing fantastic, but still pretty quick and can get in there and deal some good damage before a lot of other units. So the speed actually is 164 for both. So they both have 164 speed, which means the TIE Fighter Pilot is going to be a pretty quick attacker. Next up we have physical damage, which is actually more on the TIE Fighter Pilot. He has 2,408 compared to Rey's 2,349. Now, if you know Rey, she deals some immense mental damage. So with TIE Fighter Pilot having more physical damage, that is going to be ridiculous amounts of damage. Next up, we're going to have a look at the special damage, in which the TIE Fighter deals 1293 compared to Rey's 1384. So very, very close, and very not much a difference between the two, which is absolutely awesome. So as you can tell already, the TIE Fighter Pilot is going to be some like really powerful team member, especially on Empire teams, and he is going to be part of the meta, I reckon. Okay guys, so now I'm actually going to have a look at and tell you guys what I would say is probably a good team composition using these two units. Since they're both Empire units, I decided to put them in the one team, and we're going to have a look at what that team looks like now. So the first member of the team and the leader would be Emperor Palpatine. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't have him, such as me, I don't have him because I wasn't prepared for the event, but if or when it comes in next, I will be prepared to get him probably to 7 stars by that point. So we're going to use Emperor Palpatine for his absolutely awesome abilities. So I'm going to go over the leader ability as to justify why I've chosen him as the leader. So, Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Empire and Sith allies gain 32% potency and max health. Jedi and Rebel enemies have minus 32% potency and evasion. Whenever an Empire ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they gain 20% turn meter. Whenever a Sith ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% of their max health. Now, if you can't tell just by looking or listening to that, he will be the best leader for any Empire team. So that is pretty much my justification that his leader ability is off the charts. So next up on the team, I'm going to include Darth Vader. Now, for those who don't know, Darth Vader is a difficult character to get to 7 stars. I actually don't know if it's possible yet, because you can only get him through achievements and every so often in the shard shop or shipments. But one of the main abilities we're using for him is actually Force Crush, because this deals physical damage to all enemies and inflicts speed down and 3 damage over time effects. Now you may be thinking, damage over time, not that fantastic. Speed down's pretty good, but damage over time isn't that great. But this will feed in absolutely awesomely with the 2 characters we've actually chosen. The new characters that they're actually using. Like the TIE Fighter Pilot deals 35% more damage for enemies suffering a debuff. So basically, he's going to destroy enemies with Darth Vader on the team. So we've got Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, and then we also have Royal Guard. Now you may be thinking, 2 taunt tank thingos? Why that? Because who doesn't want more epic defense on their team? So the obvious reason for Royal Guard is he's incredibly powerful, the auto taunt, and can gain offense up for all your teammates, which is absolutely crazy. He can also inflict debuffs as well with his Force Pike, like speed down and sometimes stun, which is absolutely just mind-blowing. Then the other two, obviously the ShoreTrooper and the TIE Fighter Pilot. So that would be an awesome 5 unit team composition. And I think to use that team composition with these 2 new units would absolutely put massive Empire teams on the leaderboard, into PvP tournaments when they're finally released and everything. So I think these 5 units I'm definitely going to be trying to build up for when these 2 characters become 100% farmable. Anyway guys, that has been me for this video. I hope you guys like this new layout of a video. I decided to actually put a bit more in-depth kind of analysis to it and actually really look at the characters and really examine them a bit more. So if you guys like this new type of video, make sure to smash that like button. I have not included the face cam in this specific video because I feel sometimes it might detract from what I'm actually talking about, especially when actually diving a bit deeper into it. But if you want to see the face cam back, make sure to let me know. If you like it without, once again, let me know. And make sure to subscribe to never miss more videos like this. And peace out.